All right, and we are live once again. Hello once again, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel, where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome once again to In Your Face. Real quick, for those who have been curious, which I'm sure there's a few of you who are, over the case on my son, that has come to a close. And the judge ruled for the state. Now, if you've kept up with the Prince Magnum channel, you know that this has been about a 2-year ordeal. Today, it was kind of the final straw. Basically, the judge ruled whether or not she should have. She went ahead and ruled that my son stay with the state, all that other stuff. And at this point, I mean, there should have been actual state officials let out in handcuffs. I was able to actually point the judge in the direction that that there was people representing the state. Basically, they were representing the state and should not be. Okay, you know, they should have been let out in handcuffs and facing criminal charges for perjury. Now, if you are new to that terminology, that's lying under oath. And more than once, I actually was able to prove that even today. And if you've kept up with the channel, you know that this has been an ongoing ordeal. For the record, the Missouri State Attorney General is aware of this, but they're probably not going to do a doggone thing about it. Simply put, again and again and again, you hear here in the state of Missouri that that they don't police the police. Well, it goes beyond just policing the police. It goes as far as policing the prosecutors, juvenile office, children's division, anything related to state government. The state of Missouri does not, and I repeat, does not, you know, they don't police it at all. Okay, and the judge should have, just taken a look at the evidence, but basically it was dismissed. Now, I'm sure she has her reasons, probably because, it's, how do you explain that? I mean, at that point, it has to be embarrassing, okay, for the county. All of that being said, she allowed it and that sort of thing. Now, for the record, this case really won't matter at the end of July anyways, because right now, currently, my mother in June will be going out to the reservation that I still have family on, and basically she'll be declaring her Native American citizenship, and because she's on my birth certificate, basically, I get to do it too. I will be able to declare my Native American citizenship. This was mentioned in the courtroom again today. All of this being said, there seems to be only one logical way to handle this. And unfortunately, it's going to sound like a joke, but it's really not. It's not. And for the record, I don't think I'll actually win what I'm going to be doing, but enough people will pay attention that the state of Missouri will have no choice but to straighten their act up, I guess is what I'm going to say. So right now, I guess the big announcement, we're here. We're at the big announcement, okay? And that big announcement is that I, Prince Magnum, am now declaring my candidacy for the presidency for 2020. Okay, I'm running. I'm announcing that now. I know that sounds crazy. Basically, I've decided on what political party I'll be joining, and this is not just to basically draw attention away, to the problems here in Missouri, but beyond that, there are some problems at the federal level that need to be dealt with. I know Missouri is not the only one that has that won't prosecute public officials in government offices. They don't do it. I know this is not the only state, and in an upcoming video, we're going to talk more about that. about the idea that I have that'll have to go through Congress. Um, the other thing that that needs to come up is that recently we've got involved in Syria. We don't need to be there. There's no reason to be in Syria. Russia took care of all the problems that was in Syria. Why are we there? If anything, Russia has been our ally in solving the problems with terrorist activity around the world. Which, for the record, if you look at the Alex Jones show, they constantly talk about who started ISIS and that sort of thing. You're welcome to take a look at that. You know, spend some time with it. Spend some time. There's a lot of fear mongering that comes from the Alex Jones show, but if you can get past all the fear mongering, there's some actual important stuff that goes on at the government, you know, the federal government level that needs to stop. And for the record, up until Syria, I was a Donald Trump supporter, but not anymore. We have no reason to be in Syria. I don't care what you're hearing in mainstream news. It's a lie. Stop watching that stuff. Get off the beaten path. Thank goodness for YouTube, because if it wasn't for, you know, what YouTube does, you guys would be better informed. Okay. So there will be, you know, my ideas coming out. And if you're curious what political party, obviously our current president, Donald Trump, is, you know, he heads the Republican Party. So yeah, there's going to be people running to have the candidacy in the Republican Party, but they're not going to get it. Okay. I've never in all the years I've studied American history, I don't believe that anyone has gotten the vote from their political party to, you know, for presidency when the president is already head of that party. That's kind of something, it's not written in the Constitution, but it's just kind of known that whoever the president is, they're also head of their party, okay? So the only way to solve problems at the federal level and the state level and the local level is to go all the way to the presidency. And I think it's high time that we put someone, even if it's not me, someone in office who's going to look at world peace, who's going to, those sort of things. And let me state, the party I'm looking at is the Democratic Party, because that's going to be the only one that has a shot at it. And they're going to be the ones who are going to point out exactly what I'm pointing out. Okay. Basically they're going to climb on the bandwagon, and any other candidate, would have to kind of, because I'm a man of the people, here at home. I mean, there's not too many people that don't know me. Like in today's court case, I knew every last one of the bailiffs in that room. I even, even one of the people who was representing Children's Division, I went to high school with her. That sort of thing. So it's one of those things that I'm known for the area. And so I'm kind of a man of the people down here. Why can't I be a man of the people abroad? Now, before I, get too far off topic, I know some of you are wondering, okay, Prince Magnum, obviously you're announcing this, and if the Democrats are interested, basically, if they're more than willing, basically, I'll leave my email address in the lower box, and I'll go ahead and say it again for anyone who wants to pass on some knowledge, some stories that they have had to deal with from the state of Missouri, just like Princess Faye and myself have had to deal with. It's princemagnum1@gmail.com, or you could follow me on Twitter at magnum_prince. You kids know how that stuff works, okay? So right up front, you're more than welcome to get behind me. If you're not behind me, you might as well just be quiet, because this train is rolling and we're not going to stop. So I am running for U.S. president, and because I was born in St. Louis, not like our last Democrat president, anyhow, got to be reforms made in the Democrat Party too. But first and foremost, I am a Native American, you know. It would be the first time that a Native American would be elected president. But again, I don't honestly think that I would actually make it. Now, real quick, I'm going to touch base on some of my, you know, some of my agendas very quickly. Um, I'm I'm a man who studies American history very avidly. Okay, and when I say avidly, I mean it. You know, I look at the conspiracy theories. I look at mainstream history, what they're based, and all of that stuff. Um, Pretty much from before the Revolutionary War up to current date. And I will say up front, okay, I know with the whole thing in Syria, I know that's on everybody's mind because Russia's pissed at us, China's pissed at us, and I know North Korea has been looking for an excuse to kind of get their fist in on us. Um, the thing that ticks me off about our current president is we're not supposed to be in Syria. There's no reason to be there. And it's real easy to dedicate troops when you're going to be sitting in the plush White House, okay? It's real easy to dedicate someone's husband, someone's son, someone's daughter, to dedicate someone's loved ones when you don't have to be there. So one of my policies, if elected, would be I would never dedicate a single troop unless I was going to be shoulder to shoulder with them. I would have to be on the front with them. And I know that sounds crazy, but first, that's at the top of my list, okay? There should never be any troops dedicated to any conflict or war, for that matter, unless the head of the military, which is the president under U.S. constitutional law, basically, if he's going to say he's head of the army or the armed forces, period, and be willing to send those troops, he should be willing to be at the front with them, and that's just the way it is. So to anyone in the armed forces, if elected president, I would never send you guys to war unless I was going with you. Okay, I have no. That's period. Okay. Right now, I do not have selected a vice president, but I know who I would want to run with me, and that would be none other than former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura, because he did amazing things for Minnesota, and he's still well loved up there in Minnesota. And anyone who's willing to help expose the dirty stuff in our government to stop the corruption, I mean, I want that guy on my side. So that right there, that would be who I would want to run with me. Beyond that, I don't know. I guess Secretary of Defense should probably be that guy, a combat veteran, a guy known as Drew. I forget his last name, but he would be a good choice, I guess. But anyhow, back to the topic at hand. Again, I'm going Democrat on this unless they're not interested, and then we'll find a different political party. Maybe the Green Party would be willing to pick me up. But, I'm one of you guys, okay? Again, I'm a man of the people, if you will. I'm a married man, 5 kids, working at McDonald's. I mean, I know what it's like to be in you guys' shoes. I really didn't even want to make this announcement. It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. It's one of those things. It's stupid, because I'm not going to win. But the only way to start getting rid of the corruption, even as far down as local government, is it's going to take someone to point it out. And if basically making a mockery of myself is the only way to get it pointed out, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to make myself look stupid or make myself look crazy as long as it gets the news out and gets the attention where it needs to be. And it needs to be on putting cuffs on people who are in office, you know, who are supposed to be representing the state, and they only, basically the corruption's got to stop. And I see it here in Missouri, and I'm pretty sure it's just as bad abroad. We have been too focused on things that really don't pertain to our everyday living. Okay, do I care? Do I care what's going on in the Middle East? Not at all. Not at all. I personally don't care. Okay, them Arabs can do whatever they want. It's their business. I have nothing against Islam. I actually had a friend who was from Pakistan at one time, and he was one of the nicest guys I ever met. So and I actually sat in an AA meeting where on one side of me was a retired Catholic priest, on the other side of me was a Muslim. So I personally don't care what they believe in. Personally, I honestly and truthfully believe maybe if we just left them alone, they would leave us alone, because we've been sticking our nose in their business way too long. That's the problem. And nobody in their right, you know, nobody talks about that. So the truth be told, the problem is America has stuck its nose in everybody's business way too long. We don't need to be doing that. You know, and when I say government officials that need to be locked up, obviously people right here in my own county, anybody, you know, the perjury case, they should have been let out of there in cuffs, okay? They should have been let out of there in cuffs, but they weren't. And even if that was the case, it would most likely be dismissed. They'd be moved to another part of the state under a new name, a new identity, and the whole 9 yards, and it'd be business as usual. These people are traitors to their country, okay? They're traitors to you, the taxpayer. And personally, that ticks me off. One of the other problems that I have is, yes, we've brought some of the jobs back home. Yes, we've turned on the economy, but we're not doing enough, okay? One of the things that burns me up here in Missouri is they have taken away some of the power that unions have. Even if you're, you know, if you are a professional, you know, construction worker, bricklayer, plumber, I don't care, okay? And even if you're not union, you still benefit from the unions. And here is how, okay? And this is unions in general. Even if you're not with the union, for that company that you're with, for them not to have to go union, they have to make sure that you're paid well, okay? So you still benefit from the unions, even if you're not in one, okay? And I think the unions keep the businesses honest, and businesses don't want them in there. So in order to do that, they take care of us, okay? So that burns me up that Missouri is messing with that, and the reason they want to do that is they want you, the taxpayer, to live in poverty, okay? I'm looking at you, Missouri governor. To go beyond that, okay? Again, here in Missouri, police officers are not, I mean, look at that whole ordeal that happened in Florissant, okay? The officer got away. Has anyone heard from him? Does anybody know anything about him? Probably changed his name, moved to another town under a, you know, new identity for him, his family, the whole 9 yards and everything. And the trial itself, in my opinion, was an absolute farce. Did he do it? I don't know. I wasn't there. But I know the trial itself was a farce. By the way, that was not the only one. And there was a couple other shootings just like that. But what's been kept out of the news is the other two were white guys. Okay? So we're seeing stuff like this, and I have a whole policy to deal with that. That'll be forthcoming in another video, kind of a part. We're going to break this up into parts. Now, for those of you who do like the Prince Magnum channel and enjoy the Prince Magnum channel and love the hot rodding and love the cooking with the romance and everything, that will continue, okay? This is just kind of a side project for now. I think you know, my track record speaks for itself. I believe in, to me, if you don't like if you don't like American cars, don't live in America. If you don't believe in the Second Amendment, don't live in America. If you don't believe in freedom of speech within reason, don't live in America. If you think that the government should be afraid of the people and not the other way around, you're on the right track. But if you believe that you should be afraid of the government and not the government afraid of you, as it was set up with our Constitution and our first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights, you don't need to be here. Okay, that's the way it is. Okay, do I believe in free enterprise and all that? People getting ahead and making buku bucks? Yes. But a lot of the stuff that's going on today, I'm not happy with. The only way to deal with it is to make an issue of it, and the only way to get anyone to pay attention to the issue is probably make myself look crazy. So that's just the way it is. So there you have it, folks. I, Prince Magnum, and probably at a later date, I'll have to come on the record and probably break my identity. I'll only break it for one video if it's necessary. But other than that, I like to keep my my alter ego identity for the purposes of Alcoholics Anonymous. To kind of show respect to them and our traditions. Other than that, I personally don't care. That's the way it is, okay? The time has come when there really needs to be an actual change. And we need to focus on home, because home is where you hang your hat. And the United States has been my home since I was born. I was born in this country. Again, I was born actually at Missouri Baptist Hospital up in St. Louis, and I don't like the direction my country's going in. And the only way to do that is to go political. And again, I don't believe I'm actually going to win. But in all reality, at least I know this will get everyone's attention. Okay? So there you have it, folks. I've got tons of ways to, tons of ideas up here, on how to solve many of our problems. Unfortunately, the only way to address that is through you, the Maverick Nation, and passerbyers here on YouTube. So that's where we stand. Again, I'm not changing anything else. This is not going to be a strictly political YouTube channel now. We are staying on the track of hot rodding. We're staying on the track of romance. We are going to continue to do our part within the community, because regardless, win, lose, or draw, my focus is on my community. Again, that's home is where you hang your hat. Okay. So there you go. I don't want to take up too much time. I think, anything over 20, 25 minutes is just beating the dead horse. So let's get to the usual bit. If you like this video, you want to climb on the bandwagon, be sure to leave a like, a subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you can be notified every time we upload a brand new video. If you have any cash to donate to the Prince Magnum channel so we can continue to work with Project Spirit on a much larger scale, because I've got some crazy ideas that I would love to do to that old car. And it's just going to require a lot of help from you, the Maverick Nation. If you haven't got it, hey, I understand. At least if you leave a like and a subscribe and hitting that bell icon, you're still supporting the Prince Magnum channel in some way, shape, or form. And that's just as good, okay? I know some YouTube channels, they forget to mention that. No, leave a like, leave a subscribe, and hit the bell icon. If you can, throw some of my Patreon account. I'm under Prince Magnum on Patreon. You're welcome to drop $1 or $2. If you go the extra, for the record, I will be announcing that special group that goes the extra step to basically, if they actually, I forget how they put it, but basically they sign up where there's a monthly donation. There'll be a special club for that. And that announcement will be forthcoming in another up-and-coming video. Again, I don't want to take up too much more time. And as always, for all of you out there, get out there and work on a project. Something about being a do-it-yourselfer, that's pretty important, I think, this day and age. Almost forgot where I was. So get out there and work on that project. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet. Do something special for them, you know? Especially if you're married. Let them know that you still love them, you know? No matter what crazy stuff goes on in your life, it's good to remind them that, you know, remind them that they're still the special one for you. And as always, for all of you out there, if no one out there has told you that they love you, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.